Second. But right now on the track, Steve, we've got the World of Outlaws B feature coming up. That, of course, is the Outlaws Copenhagen Skull National Point Series event, runner-up to the big main event. But here's the excitement in the pit area.
Well, Brock, they have still not isolated the problem with Steve Kinser's number 11 car. They are checking this machine from stem to stern, and they don't have a whole lot of time left. Stay with us from the Oklahoma Showdown. You talk about cold. The only person that may be comfortable today in Tulsa, Oklahoma is sprint car driver Tim G from the Yukon Territory. The chill factor now in the single digits. But the action on the track and the B feature to come may make up for that. This is the last chance for all of these drivers to make the A main where the big money is. 12 laps of racing, the top 6 to the main. Brock Yates.
Well, Steve, the interesting pairing in the third row, of course, involves Jack Hewitt and Doug Wolfgang, who had that problem earlier. In row 6, Rocky Hodges. Now, if Wolfgang and Hewitt hold their places, they will qualify for the feature, but back in the field. As far as Rocky's concerned, though, he's got to work his way up toward the front to even make the A feature. So as the pace laps continue here, let's go to Steve Evans to see if we can find out what the problem is with car 11.
Well, Brock, things are a bit more serious in the Steve Kinser camp than we originally thought. Rather than it being something seized up in the drivetrain that could be quickly fixed, apparently the engine itself has frozen up, and they are going to attempt an engine change before the feature race. They only have a matter of minutes to get this done, but as you can see, there's plenty of capable hands.
Well, one of the things about a modern sprint car is it is very simple in construction, and you can field strip it almost instantaneously, especially with a very capable crew like Carl Kinser's. In the meantime, we are formed up for the B main, Steve Evans, and we're going to watch that third row with Hewitt and Wolfgang.
Well, they don't have much time, only 12 laps of racing, especially in Rocky Hodges back there. As you pointed out, he's the one really under the gun here. All right, we've got a great flag, and we are racing in the B feature. A pair of Oklahomans up front. Tony Armstrong, Greg Woolley, car 39 and 23. Oh, and it is Armstrong in the 39 car. He slides right in to 23, Greg Woolley, and a whole bunch of drivers do a good job of missing this shot.
They sure did. So there is Armstrong stranded in the middle of turns 1 and 2. That, of course, will bring out the caution. No start, really. They just got into the race, and then out comes the yellow. So Sand Springs, Oklahoma's Tony Armstrong will probably get a restart. Of course, he'll advance to the back of the field, which makes it a tough break for him. He started on the outside pole. There is Rocky Hodges, who slid off, fortunately, without any real damage. He had to go way outside to avoid the problem. It looks like he's going to try to get a restart. And once again, though, a tough break for him. He's going to go to the back. Let's take another look, Steve.
Oh, as you know, Brock, this happened right at the beginning of the race in the very first turn, and there was 39 Armstrong just driving into the left rear wheel of Greg Woolley. Armstrong was very lucky that that car did not somehow get upside down. Anytime you have rubber-to-rubber contact with these cars, there is always that potential of a full flip or a roll.
Okay, and as you said earlier, everybody does an excellent job of missing him. Joe Garrity out of Rochester, Indiana, just nicks him, but no real damage there. And I would imagine that we're going to see Armstrong get underway here.
In avoiding the incident, Rocky Hodges took his car off the high side and down to this kind of escape area. You can see it's nice and smooth, no problem there at all. Better than trying to stay on the racetrack and accidentally run into somebody. So the official little vehicle there they call Workin' Woody, a 4-wheel drive, goes down and pushes him back up onto the racetrack, where ultimately, hopefully, the 23 car will be restarted.
Yeah, there they go. And now we're with the Armstrong car. They have actually gotten that thing into the pit area. They're going to have to change that right front wheel. Apparently the Garrity whacked there, bent things, and they're going to have to make that replacement. And it may be that the World of Outlaw officials are holding the field out there until Armstrong, right here going into his trailer, can get back into the race car. We're going to soon find that out as the field continues to circulate here under caution. Remember now, we have not even had one lap of this B feature. Currently sitting in the 7th spot is Memphis, Tennessee's Mike Ward. Now, he's here with a beautiful brand new car that earlier Steve had a look at.
Sprint cars may look basically the same year after year from the grandstands, but if you look at them close, there's a constant evolution going on. Let's take a look at some of the new tricks on the 61 car of Mike Ward. The shock absorber here is not bolted to the mount. It is quick pin, so the crew can change shocks without even going to the toolbox. That could save some precious seconds. Now look down under the seat. There's nothing there. That's where the engine oil tank used to reside, but it was getting so much heat from the rear brake rotors that they moved it forward, which also gives the car a little better balance. As far as appearance is concerned, the 61 car is actually a bit unique. Take a look at the cowling here as it comes to a very distinctive point. What they're doing here is trying to channel the wind around the car instead of flowing up like it used to under the wing and actually counteracting the downforce that they want from the wing. So all in all, a pretty distinctive look. That'll probably catch on.
Well, Steve, Kinser's car will look a lot like that when they get the bodywork back on. They've installed that new 410 cubic inch Chevy engine in it, so work is progressing nicely. We'll be back with the start of the B feature at Tulsa Speedway right after this. In 1911, when Will Rogers revisited his hometown of Claremore, he bought 20 acres of land nearby with the hopes of building his retirement home there. But following his death in 1935, 3 years later, the state of Oklahoma opened this beautiful memorial to him. Today, it's visited by thousands of people who remember this great American.
Well, right now, all this man, Tony Armstrong, the driver of the number 39 Sprinter, remembers is the accident a few minutes ago that has put him out of the B feature, unable to repair that automobile. We are just about ready for a restart of that event. 12 laps, 6 go to the big feature later on today.
And, Steve, we've had a change of position. Ted Lee moves into the pole position. And notice that Doug Wolfgang has already moved up. He's sitting in the 3rd spot in that yellow number 40. So as they go down the back chute, it'll be Ted Lee out of El Paso, Texas on the point. He will be on the hammer. Coming off turn 4, we've got a green.
We do indeed. These 400 cubic inch alcohol burning V8 Thunder into turn number 1. It is the 23 car Greg Woolley out front. Tim G trying to take second place away from 2T Ted Lee, but could not make it stick. G falls into the 3rd place and now tries him on the outside. That is in the 88 car is Tim G from the Yukon Territory.
White Horse, the Yukon, as he's running in very familiar weather right now, Steve, as he takes over the 2nd spot. And there's Rocky Hodges trying to make his comeback after going to the back after he stalled in that first lap problem. He's trying to get underneath local driver right here in Tulsa. That is Donnie Crawford in the red 77. Had to get out of it a little bit, Rocky did. And that gives Johnny Herrera in the 45 a shot at him. There is Hodges staying up high.
And look at Doug Wolfgang, the 40 car. He moves into the 3rd spot, getting around 2T Ted Lee. Tim G and Doug Wolfgang right now running 2nd and 3rd. Out front is the number 23 car of Greg Woolley. Let's remember here, the top 6 will go to the A feature. So far, all of those guys in those 4 positions are secure if they can stay there. And here is Doug Wolfgang. He is not content with 3rd spot.
No, he's not, Steve, because the closer he gets, in fact, if he wins this thing, that'll give him an even better starting position in the main event. So he's working hard right now on that 88 car of Tim G's to see if he can get by and move into that 2nd spot.
Now, Jack Hewitt, Brock, number 63, he has moved up into the 4th position. Looking good right now.
And with his sights set on Wolfgang in the 40 and sitting in the 3rd spot. Right now, we've got this race for 5th. That's the white number 3 of Joe Garrity, that red number 2 of Ted Lee, the 61 car Mike Ward, and bringing up the rear that orange 23 Rocky Hodges. So these guys are going at it for that 5th spot, Steve Evans.
Well, and the 6th spot as well, Brock, because the top 6 do transfer to the main. Now, Doug Wolfgang, he is continuing to put the pressure onto Tim G. Wolfgang in the 3rd spot, Tim G in the 88 machine just in front of him. And let's compare their tactics here as they move into turn 3 and 4. Wolfgang continues to go high. He likes to ride up there.
Yeah, he's up on top all the way around this racetrack. Ducks in low to
Wolfgang is committed to that tactic. He doesn't appear to be willing to compromise and try to find any other quick way around. There again, he puts that driving wheel right out onto the cushion and carries all of that speed down the straightaway. He usually pulls right up on G here. Not as close this lap as he was the last.
But look at this, Steve. While Wolfgang has been distracted perhaps by trying to get by Tim G, Joe Garrity in the 3G has moved right up on him in the 4th spot.
Tim G got behind some slower traffic there. That allowed Wolfgang to pull wide down the front straight, and you betcha he's going to get right in there for the 2nd spot.
All right, so a pass there. Finally, the persistence pays off for the Wolf, and he does move into the 2nd spot. Let's see if he can run down the leader here. Greg Woolley still holds on to about a 6-car length lead as they come down the front straightaway on the final lap. So the Sooner fans in the stands are on their feet as they're going to watch one of their own, Oklahoma City's own Greg Woolley, head for the checkered flag here in the B main. Wolfgang takes one final shot at him, but not enough. Greg Woolley wins it.
And certainly the most interesting battle of the day had to be for that 2nd spot between Tim G and Doug Wolfgang. Wolfgang set him up beautifully. He could see that G was going to be unable to anticipate that traffic. Greg Woolley, the 23 car, he heads back for his trailer. They'll refuel this automobile, probably change the tires, and be ready for the feature. Also, it appears the number 11 car of Steve Kinzer will be ready. Kinzer himself aiding the crew and putting the wings back on. The new engine has been installed, and if I know Carl Kinzer, it'll run just as stout as the one they had problems with. The final results of the B feature. Greg Woolley wins it, Doug Wolfgang 2nd, Tim G, Mike Ward, and Joe Garrity, the top 5. In the all-important 6th position was number 63, Jack Hewitt. Brock?
Steve, I'm with Greg Woolley, who did a good job in that B main, and I noticed you're just checking your tires over here. You got a long way to go now.
Well, we get to start pretty close up front. We qualified 3rd today, so that's a big decision. You know, we got 30 laps in A feature, so we didn't wear very much tire in the B feature, and I think we're going to go with the same thing we had.
Greg, what's the factor here? Are you going to, the racetrack seems to be getting a couple of pretty good grooves in it and some rubber down on it, but 30 laps is, that's a long way on the 3/8 mile of it. It's a bunch of turning left.
Yes, it is. The factor is that it's so cold that we don't know whether to go soft tires or hard tires, because we do have 30 laps and it is a long way, and no telling how many reds or yellows we're going to have out there.
Well, you know, so far today we haven't had very many. It's been real good racing. Everybody seems to be hooked up, and so maybe you're going to have green. It's a possibility of going green all the way, or maybe we'll own a couple of them.
I hope so, Bob.
Okay. Good job on winning that. Congratulations, Steve.
Got to be a little bit frustrating. You know you've got a car, you know you've got the talent to win, but thanks to that little bobble in the heat, you're going to start back 5th or 6th row in the feature. What are you going to do?
Well, it really wouldn't have mattered. I'd still got my time spot because I made it through the B. What cost me, what makes it disheartening is we probably could have won, I think maybe win or run 2nd yesterday, which would have got me in the top 2 rows today, and because of the crank breaking yesterday and, you know, qualifying 8th today, I think the qualifying 8th was probably more due to the fact that we went out a little late or whatever, and it was a little dustier. That the whole thing comes down to blowing up. You got to finish, you know. If we'd have finished yesterday, we'd have been in the top 2 or 3 today, and we wouldn't have had no troubles. And just like I told these guys yesterday when it blew up, I said the worst thing is not only did it blow up, but it's going to mess up tomorrow, because I'll come in, draw 99, go out last to qualify. But I think I'll start probably. I think I was 6th fast today, and I got my time spot back. I finished in the top whatever in the B main 4 or something, and so I'll start probably around 12th, I think, maybe 11th. And it's just one of them tracks where a guy will have to hit the right combination, and nobody knows where it's at yet. It continues to change race after race, and the biggest advantage anybody would have here would be starting on the front.
We'll be watching and wish you the best.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it gets any colder here, these guys are going to be running snow tires in the feature. We'll be back for the start right after this.